In your book, you recall that you were taken to Bohemian Grove.
Yes.
You were sexually abused there.
Yes.
Can you describe Bohemian Grove? What it's like inside the compound? What does it smell like? What's the furniture like?
Yeah, I could describe all that aspect. Much of my memory on something that's very close up to the experience that I was having. There was a place called the Underground, which was a place where the highest level politicians would discuss many things. You know, it's just where they could talk freely about mind control plans or black budget, black ops that were going on at the time. They could discuss anything in a place like that. And
now, were they costumed or in cloaks, or are they just in suit and ties?
Not the part that I was exposed to. Now, I know there's different levels of Bohemian Grove, and whenever I was there, it was the political level, and
so you were never there in front of the giant owl with the ritualistic...
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah, absolutely. That too. That was definitely a part of the traumatization that was very extreme and very perverse. There's a lot of perversion goes on at Bohemian Grove, and these politicians were, you know, I mean, they don't know any limits to their power, and their sexuality is very distorted as a result. And they're very extremely perverse. And yes, definitely I was exposed to that aspect of things as well. That's why I was there, because since I had been sexually abused so early on, my sexuality was heightened, and much of the operations that I was involved in and used in involved sexuality and prostitution to various government leaders and that aspect of things too. So,
can you name any of the government leaders that you were prostituted to?
De la Madrid of Mexico. That's a powerful one, because at the time NAFTA was being ushered in, and Brian Mulroney of Canada. You know, because again NAFTA was being ushered in, and I was exposed to politicians, of course, in the United States, like Reagan. Who had a few notorious perversions. So, yes, I was exposed to several government leaders that are detailed in Transformation of America, which again is our testimony for the U.S. Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence Oversight. And that is something that I hope everybody will just, you know, pick up and read and get the facts.
I'm just trying to understand what's happening here. Like, you have the Bohemian Grove, political leaders from all over are flown in. They're discussing how the world should be run. Is the sex part of it some sort of blackmail used on all these people, so they're all in this together?
Absolutely.
You know, so while all their sickest fantasies may be fulfilled, at the same time, it's quite sick. It's like making a deal with the devil.
Absolutely, and it's covertly filmed, and it is definitely used as blackmail, and it keeps people in line. And many of them were acutely aware of it. It's not like it was always covertly filmed. There were times when, even if it was, I mean, you never saw like a camera set up because they were hidden, but nevertheless, many of them already knew that it was being filmed, and they didn't care because they weren't going to go against the agenda anyway. They were all in for the agenda anyway. So they had no problem with that aspect of it. But it was a safety measure just in case somebody did want to turn. You know, it's like, well, they'd be able to release that. And it seems that people respond more to political perversion as being the worst evil quicker than they can grasp the magnitude of what the agenda is for mind control of the masses, which is eroding our free thought and expression and soul expression. That is absolutely horrendous. When the American people are being divided in political situations, one thing that will be brought out is a perversion, diversion is what I refer to it as, such as they brought up with Bill Clinton, and then that takes people's minds off of the real issues of what's really going on. So, I don't really want to dwell so much on the sexual aspect, but I'm really glad that you brought up the fact that, yes, it's used as blackmail, and it can be ultimately used as a powerful weapon to divert the minds of the people off of other issues if necessary.
Was there any murders that took place at Bohemian Grove?
My gosh, yes, many. That again, those are detailed in.
Okay, that's a hell of a thing to kill a person.
Transformation of America.
That's a hell of a thing to see someone get killed.
It is.
How did the people there react to that?
Different ways, and it's just the way things are supposed to be. I'm sure there are either those who are traumatized by it or those who feel empowered by the death having occurred. And I've seen many horrific things. My first handler in MKUltra mind control was Wayne Cox, and he was the serial killer that was, he was a CIA assassin, but his programming kind of went awry, and he became just a serial killer on top of that, which was extremely traumatic for me and was a huge part of preparing my mind for robotic mind control. It was at that point that I was thrust in on the White House Pentagon level during the Reagan-Bush administration. To see death is very traumatic. It's also why our military is in need of information on healing from that kind of trauma. But the healing from it has been classified the same way that mind control itself is classified. They're not going to provide an antidote to a problem they won't admit exists. And our military is suffering horrendously for that. And because Mark and I have the keys to being able to reclaim your mind after the most horrific of traumas, then it's like a sliding scale. It's information that everyone can use for reclamation of their own free thought, for being able to expand their thought, think further, think beyond the trauma of their experience, move forward in life, live true to soul, and be able to stand for the things that they believe in again. To stop the night terrors that creep in from such horrific abuse, intrusive memory flashes that cause, the kind of flashback that can perpetuate violence even further. It stops all of that. This information's got to get out there. Mark and I are, we've released the information through access denied, and it shows step by step how I was able to heal. And like I said, people all over the world are using that to reclaim control over their own minds and lives. And we have taught mental health professionals on a global scale on how to help people heal from PTSD and mind control. It's good to see the negative of my past being turned into a positive to help others. And ultimately, that is my focus at this point. We've been blowing the whistle for 25 years. We've been talking about the traumatic aspects of mind control. When Mark and I started, nobody even knew what the words mind control meant. And now it's a household word. People are aware of it. Now we need to get that antidote out there just as strong so that people can begin living with that strength of spirit again and move forward in life the way that life is intended to be.